Okay, this is pretty crazy. How many characters is too many X-Men characters? I need to ask you because, whoa, we just got a new trailer from X-Men 97 Season 2, and I thought, I'm not going to have much to talk about probably. This trailer's only 1minute and 8 seconds. What more could they possibly have to show us in that time? What more could I have to say? Well, they managed to fit a lot in, even just within the first 5 seconds. Before we talk about what's going on in this trailer and I break down for you everyone that's in it, because there is a lot of characters. Seriously, though, I want to know from you, who is an X-Men member, an X-Men character, or a villain? Anyone, even a supporting character I'll take, you know? What are some characters that you would like to see in Season 2? Because clearly, we're gonna have a lot. But let's start off with what we see. So first things first, we get Wolverine. We have a couple versions of Wolverine in this trailer. One has his adamantium. One seems to not have his adamantium and has bone claws. And I don't know if the Wolverine with adamantium is going to be from a different timeline or it's going to be the same one. I don't think I need to explain who Wolverine is to you guys. So Wolverine is here. A lot of Wolverine. Moving right along, we have Professor X. Not a lot of Professor X in this trailer, but Professor X is going to most likely be in ancient Egypt with everyone. He looks pretty serious in this, so he'll be there. We've also... If you don't know Professor X, he is known as the leader of the X-Men. He's typically the one that brings all of our mutants together and created the X-Men team, creating a school where everyone also can come and learn about their mutant powers and abilities, and then the X-Men help him sort of run the school eventually. But originally, he just brought the X-Men together, and then the school came later on in the canon, in the comics. We've got Beast, who looks quite worried when we first see him. We also see him doing some pretty cool flying in this trailer. Beast is a scientist, Hank McCoy. His first mutation, his original mutation, was that he was very dexterous. He had really big hands. And you know what they say about really big hands? He got really big feet too. So he had really big hands, really big feet, and he could jump around and leap around. He was very nimble. And then his secondary mutation was the blue fur that we all know him for. And that's probably become the more iconic version of Beast. But yeah, Hank is also here, which I'm always happy to see. As someone that has gone back to watch the original X-Men series, I gotta say, sometimes it feels pretty light on the Beast stories. Then we've got Sabretooth in here, who looks like he is, at first glance, in the first shot we get of him, unplugging some kind of wire. I don't know if this could be technology that's connected to Apocalypse. I don't know if Sabretooth's going to be joining up with the X-Men. I don't know what's going to be happening. There is a part where we see Morph as Silver Samurai fighting Sabretooth. So maybe not, maybe so though, and he's not the only villain in here. Speaking of Morph, we get Morph. He's looking concerned initially. We do see him transform into Silver Samurai. Morph is a character that you know from X-Men the Animated Series. He's kind of got a few different versions in the comics, and the look that we're using for Morph in X-Men 97 actually comes from the Exiles version of Morph, who is from an alternate reality, and that version of Morph has probably become the more popular version of the character in the comics. And I feel that X-Men the Animated Series is actually a huge reason why Morph has any kind of staying power in the comics, because a lot of people loved him in that show, even though he was kind of a short-lived character, at least initially. But he does come back and he does some stuff, and we saw him in Season 1 and he's back in Season 2. We've also got Jubilee. Jubilee, when we first see her, it looks like she's wearing a power suppression collar, something that is suppressing her immune powers, and she seems to be locked up somewhere. In the background, you can see another girl who is imprisoned. I do not know who this is. They look really familiar to me, but I couldn't think of anyone off the top of my head. The best guesses that I have right now are maybe like Boom Boom, or maybe a younger Ilyana. Also, is it two girls or is that a reflection of her? What is going on with that? I do not know. Jubilee, you probably know. She is one of the younger X-Men that joins up, especially in X-Men the Animated Series. She has sort of fireworks powers and has been implied in the comics to have some really insanely powerful abilities, because she can actually work on a subatomic level for how she manipulates matter with her explosions. So that's been implied. So maybe we'll get to see Jubilee doing some crazy stuff here, because she does have some action shots in the trailers we've seen before and in this one. We've got Rogue. Rogue is looking really sad here, and she's also kicking butt in this trailer, which seems to be par for the course considering what Rogue has been through. Rogue is a character who steals other people's abilities. You're probably very familiar with her. She is another super popular mutant. But yeah, I don't know why I feel like I need to recap everyone for you, but you know, that's Rogue. She takes other people's abilities. She's got a tragic backstory, and here she is again with more tragedy thanks to X-Men 97 Season 1 and losing Gambit. We've got Polaris. Polaris is looking very determined. Polaris is the daughter of Magneto. She also has magnetic abilities. In this, it seems like her hair is lighting up when she's using her powers at one point. And we also see her with a group of other mutants, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We've got Scott, Cyclops, who's talking to Jean in the first shot we see of him. Scott is the leader of the X-Men. Cyclops is the field leader. He is usually the one that's telling people where to go and what to do when they're out on a mission, and he is often seen as being kind of the right-hand man of Professor X, kind of the golden boy of the team, the golden child. So everyone kind of looks up to Scott, but he has a lot of stuff that he deals with because of his optic blast powers, which means that he can never be without his visor or some kind of protective eye equipment, or he might hurt someone. So he has a lot of stuff that he deals with, at least originally in the comics, because of that. We've got Storm. Storm seems like she's going Omega in this trailer. And of course, we all know Storm. Storm is an amazing character. She has some roots back in Africa, but she actually is from the US. She also has been the Queen of Wakanda in the comics. She's done a lot of cool things, and she is known as being an Omega level mutant, one of the most powerful mutants that we have. Omega level mutants are essentially mutants who don't really have limits to their power, so there's no limit to what she can do, and she can bend the elements to her will, and has also been able to control elements kind of beyond just weather even. So yeah, she's crazy. We've got Cable. Cable's in here. He's looking really focused when we first see him. Cable is a very interesting character. Initially a mysterious character that came from the future to the past. We would later find out that Cable was none other than the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, and kind of is also the son of Jean Grey, because Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, and Jean Grey shared memories. They had this psychic link moment, and so Jean is also kind of his mom too. The Summers family is really confusing, and I can't get into all of it in this video, but Cable is essentially Scott and Jean and Maddie's son from the future. We also have Colossus appearing here very briefly, and I think we are going to get some version of magic here, because in a previous trailer we saw Colossus sort of holding her seemingly lifeless form, and there is a point in the comics where magic does pass away and Colossus has to deal with the sadness of losing his sister, so that might also come to pass here. And of course, Colossus is a Russian mutant who joins up with the X-Men. He can make his skin turn to metal, so that's his whole thing. We got Exodus. Exodus is really cool and is very psionically powerful. He is known usually as being affiliated with Apocalypse. He's a villain. He's really epic, and he is also in a sword fight with Nightcrawler in this trailer. Nightcrawler also appears here, and Nightcrawler often is known for his philosophical reflections on the world. He's a teleporter. He can do short distance teleportation usually, and he has a signature sound that happens when he teleports known as BAMF, and that is because he is going to a sort of hellish dimension, the brimstone dimension, and that is the kind of sour smell that he leaves behind, because that's when he's teleporting, where he goes to teleport through. He also has a history that is related to his powers, but I won't get into it here because that's a whole other story for a whole other video. We've got Lady Deathstrike, who is known for being a Wolverine villain. I love Lady Deathstrike, and I can't believe she's here. We see her kind of teamed up with Sabretooth. Lady Deathstrike is the daughter of the man who created the adamantium bonding process that gave us Wolverine's adamantium skeleton that we know, and his adamantium coated claws. So that's what her whole thing is. She usually wants to hunt down Wolverine because she wants to get revenge for him stealing her dad's formula, but she also has a really complicated past with her dad, so yeah, there's a lot going on with Lady Deathstrike as well. Oh, X-Men. There's so much going on with so many people. Jean Grey appears here, of course, and we see a lot of stuff here with Jean and Cyclops and their son, Nathan Dayspring. And yes, I know, like I said, Cable Nathan is also the son of Madeline, but Jean has Maddie's memories. So like I was saying, it's kind of all, it's confusing, okay? It's confusing. What do you want from me? So Jean's here as well. And of course, Nathan Dayspring is here. And of course, Magneto is here with a beard. We also see Magneto later with facial scars. Magneto is known for being one of the greatest X-Men villains of all time. He has a lot of history with Professor X, usually from when they were younger, and different versions of their canon exist. In the X-Men animated series, it's a little bit different than the comics, but basically they got a history, they got a past, and Magneto believes in sort of one approach to how to deal with humans, and Professor X believes in a different approach. Magneto usually thinks that mutants should rule stuff because humans are really mean to them, and that they need to take the power in order to protect themselves, and Professor X is more of a let's all get along and hold hands and figure it out type of vibe. Moving right along, we got Forge in this trailer as well. Forge is a technopath. He has the ability to understand and build all kinds of technology and kind of communicate in a way with technology. So he's really good at inventing, and that is his mutant skill. He also has a history of being a shaman as well. He is indigenous, and that is part of his character and part of his abilities. And we went into kind of both of those sides of Forge in season 1 of X-Men 97. So I can't wait to see what we do with him in this season. It looks like he will be making his way to the future at some point based on some things we see in this trailer and other trailers that have already dropped. And of course, we have Silver Samurai, like I was saying, appearing through Morph transforming into him. Silver Samurai is also known as being a Wolverine villain, and you may have seen him before in Wolverine Origins, which was not the best version of him, and I would recommend more reading the comics when it comes to Silver Samurai. We've got Bishop. Bishop is a character who's also from the future, and he's from a future where mutants have been oppressed by humanity, and everything is going to heck, and all mutants are branded with an M tattoo over their eye. So that is Bishop, and that's his whole thing. He's going to be here going back to the past to get the X-Men that are trapped there, I believe. And who knows what else he'll be doing. A lot of cool energy stuff. He has energy powers. He can absorb energy and then blast it out at people. And that's also how his weapons work. His XSE weapons, they are also energy powered, and he can use his powers, I believe, to charge them up. We got Sunspot here. Sunspot is known for being in X-Men 97, an ally to Jubilee. They kind of had a little bit of a romantic thing going on last season. Not sure where that's going to take us now. He is Roberto da Costa. He's known for being extremely wealthy, kind of smug, and his abilities are also sort of energy related. He can burn really, really, really hot. So Sunspot is a pretty cool character, and he is also kind of that newer era of X-Men, even after Jubilee was introduced, really. So kind of cool seeing them combine those two characters. We'll see what happens with him this season, though. We've got Archangel here. Archangel, formerly known as Angel, Warren Worthington III, one of the original X-Men members. His whole thing is he's got wings. Also, hollow bones. Fun fact. We have Psylocke. Psylocke is super cool. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with Psylocke this season, but she also typically has a famous romance with Archangel, with Angel, so that might be part of it. She is often known for being a ninja, but she also has psionic abilities, and Psylocke is a complex character. There's Betsy, who is Psylocke, and there's Quanon, who is Psylocke, and at one point those two characters were the same person. It was Betsy in Quanon's body, so Psylocke. She's really weird, but she's also really cool. We have Siren here, and Siren is a really interesting character. She is a legacy character. She's the daughter of Banshee, so she's appearing here, and I guess it's time for me to do that Siren cosplay because Siren's also going to be in this. And Siren kind of leads into the next group of the people that we're getting next, which feels very X-Factory. We've got Strong Guy. His powers are what they sound like. He's a very strong guy. You've got Havoc, who is the brother of Scott, Alex Summers, and he has similar energy sort of based powers. He doesn't have optic blast like his brother, but they do have similar kinds of powers, and because of that, in the comics, they usually can't target each other with their abilities. They kind of cancel each other out. Then we've also got Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox. As you see in the trailer, his whole thing is he can create duplicates of himself, a very powerful ability that has been used in lots of creative ways in the comics. We've also got Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane, she can turn into a lycanthropic form. She turns into kind of a wolf form, so we see her in this as well, and she has a very complicated past with her extremely religious father. So yeah, Wolfsbane, a lot of people love her. We've got Emma Frost, who we also see in her diamond form, which is her secondary mutation, but her first mutation is that she is psychic. Emma Frost is typically known as being a villain of the X-Men, but in more recent years has really become more of a hero, or at the very least, an anti-hero. Emma is a member of the X-Men in modern day, and it seems here that she'll probably be more working with them than working against them. But Hellfire Club, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things we can do with Hellfire Club if they are to reappear. And of course, I mentioned earlier that Polaris has a bunch of other mutants that are around her, which are even more new mutants. We've got Quentin Quire, Kid Omega. He has very powerful psionic abilities and is believed to be one of the potential Phoenix hosts of the Phoenix Force. He could take that on. There is also Sync. His powers are really cool. He can sync up with somebody else, and in more recent years, he's been able to sync up with multiple people and even hold on to powers after he is no longer synced with that person, which is kind of neat. We've got Monet. Monet has two forms. One of them is super powerful and super kind of monstrous. Then she has a more human form. Monet has also been affiliated with another team that I love called X-Corp, and X-Corp will be making an appearance this season, and it seems like we're probably going to get more of the Grant Morrison X-Corp, but there have been a few different iterations of X-Corp throughout X-Men history. There's also Rachel Summers potentially on the stretcher. I don't know if that's Rachel, but it might be. Rachel Summers goes on to become Mother Ascani, who helps to raise Nathan Dayspring, who is technically her brother from another reality. Rachel is a daughter of Jean and Scott Summers from a different reality. Summers family, you know what I'm saying? We got Jono here as well in the background. He's one of my favorite characters of the sort of newer mutants, also known as Chamber. He is a character with psionic abilities, and when his powers first triggered, it actually blew his jaw off. So that's why he has more of just a fiery bottom half of his face, and that's the psionic energy, I believe, coming out of his face. And then finally, we have Apocalypse, who I think is going to be built up as our big bad this season, but might be a red herring. I'm not sure. We got Apocalypse in the past as En Sabanur. We got Apocalypse in the future in the adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, as we know from the comics. And perhaps we also have Apocalypse in the present. Time will tell. Will we also be seeing Gambit return potentially as one of Apocalypse's horsemen? I don't know. Not in this trailer, but in this trailer we got a lot. And so the question is this too many mutants? Is this too many X-Men characters? Maybe. I think it depends on how we use everyone and if they feel more like cameos or if we're trying to give everybody even screen time. I just hope that everyone that we're showcasing gets at least one cool moment. If that happens, I'll be happy and I won't think it's too much. But you do need to make sure that you give yourself enough time for moments to breathe, and this season does seem pretty jam-packed. That being said, X-Men the Animated Series would have seasons with a lot of different characters, and a lot of the times those characters were just in the background as cameos. So it's possible to do it and make it work, and ideally we make it work in a way where it feels even like we're getting even more than a cameo with some of these characters, or all of them if possible, as long as it doesn't take away from the overall story. I think that would be pretty neat. So I don't think it's too many, but we're gonna have to wait and see for the season once it's out. Anyways, I just wanted to give you a rundown of everyone I noticed in here because that roll call was a lot. And that's all I really have to say about this one, friends. Let me know of these characters that I talked about who you are most excited to see, or if there's someone else that you've seen in a previous trailer or that you're hoping to see in a future one. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll see you down there, and until next time, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye. And if you love hearing me talk about X-Men, I love doing that here. So you can check out more of that content over here if you haven't already.